Okay, here we go with the solutions to homework sheet 12, all 18 questions. So, question 1. A line is perpendicular to this line, so we need to rewrite it as y equals mx plus c first of all. So I'm going to take the 3y over, and that's going to give me 3y equals 2x, take away 6, then divide by the 3, to get y equals negative 2/3 x, take away 2. That then tells me that the gradient of this line is 2/3. So the perpendicular gradient must be negative 3/2. Question 2. Recurrence relation. We know the first value u0 is equal to 1. We know that u1 is 2 u0s add 3. So that's 2 times 1 add 3, which is 5. And we know that u2 is 2 u1s add 3, which is 2 5s add 3, which is 13. So the answer is 13. Okay, all we're simply doing is putting a number in for un, finding a new un plus 1, and just keep repeating that process over and over and over again. If you're using your calculator, then you would put the first value in, press equals, remember, and then 2 times answer, add 3, equals, 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 equals forever. But we're only doing it twice, so it'll be this one here, 13. Question 3. 3 u's add 2 v's, should be nice and simple. 3 u's are 6, 0, 3. 2 v's are negative 2, 4 and 8. And if I add them together, I get 4, 4 and 11. Question 4. Name this graph. Y equals, now because it goes up to 2 and down to negative 2, there's going to be a 2 in the front. It's a cost graph. Next thing we need to do is how many waves have we got? 1, 2, 3. So 2 cos 3x. Question 5. Need to complete the square on this. So x add 4 inside the brackets, because remember we half that number, squared. That would mean that 4 squared is 16. How do I get from 16 back to 13? By taking away 3. Question 6. Find the limit. So we need the limit formula. The limit formula is c over 1 minus m, or in this case 7 over 1 minus a quarter. I'm going to do this without a calculator because you'd be expected to do it without a calculator. So that's 7 over 3/4, which means that's going to be 7. And we know the rule when we divide by a fraction, we turn it upside down and make it into a times. So that'll be 7 times 4 over 3. Nothing cancels, so your answer is 28 over 3. Question 7. The circle. From the circle we can get that the centre point here is 3 along and 5 up. So because we're going up 5 to reach the centre, we're going to go up another 5 to reach the top of the circle, which means in total we're going up 10, so the blue line is just y equals 10. Question 8. I like first of all to turn these vectors into columns, so x, 5 and 7, and this one would be negative 3, 2 and negative 1. Now because the question says that they're perpendicular, then that means I can take my x, my 5 and my 7 and I can dot that with negative 3, 2 and negative 1, and I know my answers should be 0. So what does dot mean? Dot means I do times, times, times and add up. So negative 3 times x, 5 times 2, 7 times negative 1 equals 0. Rearranging that, I get negative 3x is equal to negative 3, so it gives me x is equal to 1. Question. Okay, number 9, we know this is a log graph, so we know its formula is y equals log to the base of something. We don't know what that is yet, and because it's obviously been moved, x plus b. We can see from the picture that it's been moved along to 4, right? It normally goes through 1, so that tells us that the second part of this formula is x minus 3, because we moved 3 to the right. Now we know also in the picture that this point here is 6, 1. So if I was to put 1 in for y, and I was to put 6 in for x, 6 take away 3 is 3. The only way that that can equal 1 is if this bottom number here matches this number. So that means the little number down the bottom here is 3. So the answer to the question is A is equal to 3 and B is equal to 3 in this case. Sorry, B is equal to negative 3, my mistake. Number 10, now this question is back to front. Normally we are given the original picture and then we're asked to do something to it and we end up with this for the answer. This time we're going the opposite way around. We know what the answer is and we want to know what did it start off looking like. Okay, so in other words we have to do this part in reverse. So the finished graph had been moved down 2, so the original moved down 3, so the original graph must have been sitting 3 higher up to start. So the y coordinate of the turning point must have been 7. We are also told that the x coordinate was to be 2x. So this number here originally must have been half of what it is just now. So that means it must have started off at 12. Okay. Question 11. We know it's an equilateral triangle. We know the side's 3. So this is 3, this is 3. We know this angle here is 60. Question asks us to work out P dot Q, which is the length of P times the length of Q times cos the angle between them. And the length of P is 3, so is the length of Q, and cos 60 because we know the angle is 60, which is 3 times a half, which is 4.5 for the final answer. Question 12. We know they're collinear, we just need to calculate the ratio. So s to t is little t minus little s, which is negative 16, negative 4, and 16. Take away take away s, which is negative 4, 5, and 1. And that comes out to be negative 16 take away negative 4 is negative 12. Negative 4 take away 5 is negative 9. 16 take away 1 is 15. Okay, then we can work out what t to u is, which is little u minus little t. And little u is negative 24, negative 10, 26. Taking away little t, which is negative 16, negative 4, positive 16. That gives us negative 24 taken away negative 16 is negative 8. Negative 10 add 4 is negative 6. 26 take away 16 is 10. Okay, if I take 3, let me make that a wee bit smaller so I can then write a wee bit extra at the side here. If I take 3 out as a factor there, right, that doesn't mean you're allowed to leave, guys, that just means I'm in school finishing this off. Right, so take 3 out as a factor, then I've got negative 4, negative 3, and 5. If I take 2 out as a factor here, then I've got negative 4, negative 3, 5. Okay, remember when it comes to doing the ratio, we do cross multiplying. So it means 2s to t is 3t to u, or take the 2 over, s to t is 3 over 2tu, So that means the ratio is 3 to 2. Question 13. Okay, what's the equation of this graph? Be a wee while since we'd seen one of these. The roots are -1, 0 and 2. So x is -1, x is 0, x is 2 are the roots. So the brackets that gave these answers were x add 1, just x, and x take away 2. Okay, so if I rewrite that as x bracket x add 1 times x take away 2, that gives me x times x squared minus x minus 2 x cubed minus x squared minus 2x. Okay, so the equation of the cubic is y equals x cubed minus x squared minus 2x. Now we're given another point, and we're given that other point for a reason. 1, 2. If I substitute the 1 in for x and the 2 in for y, then I get 2 equals 1. Take away 1, take away 2, which would mean that 2 would equal -2, which is obviously impossible. 2 cannot equal -2. So what does that mean? That basically means that your graph, which should be going up to 2, or should actually be going down to -2, is going up to negative, so it's actually upside down. Okay, so our answer for the red, we actually worked this one out. So because it's upside down, that's the negative f of x. So the answer to the question is y equals -x cubed plus x squared plus 2x. Just change the signs. Question 14. Okay, what's happening with this graph? Well, we've only got one of them inside 2 pi or 360. We know that it's been moved to the right, pi upon 4, and we know that instead of going between 1 and -1, it's going between 0 and -2. So its equation is y equals a sine graph which has been moved 45 degrees or pi upon 4 radians to the right. Okay, not a number in the front because it only goes has an amplitude of 1. 15. Find the size of angle BAC, so the angle in here. So we're going to use the formula which says cos theta is ATB dotted with ATC divided by the length of AB times the length of AC. So we need to work out A to B first of all. So A to B is little b minus little a, which is, and I'm just going to tell you what that is, it's -6, 4 and -1. And A to C is little c minus little a, which is -3, 6 and -4. Okay, what's the length of AB? That's the square root of -6 squared plus 4 squared plus -1 squared, which is 36, add 16, add 1, root 43. It's a wee bit smaller so we can see what's happening. What's the length of A to C? That's the square root of -3 squared plus 6 squared plus -4 squared, which is 9, add 36, add 16, which is root 61. So cos theta, to go back up here, the dot product means you do that times that, that times that, that times that, and then add them up. So -6 times -3 is 18, 4 times 6 is 24, and -1 times 4 is 4, and we're dividing all of that by root 43, root 61. So adding the top up gives us 46 over root 43, root 61. Going down here now, get our calculator, give me a second. That should come out to, if I've done it correctly, 26 degrees. Nearly there, guys, nearly there. Question 16. I know I've made a mess of the question, it's got F and F in it, but the second one is an H. The ratio is 1 to 5, so we do 5 times this bracket, 1 times this bracket, and divide by 6. So 5 times negative 2, add 16, divided by 6. 5 times 3 is 15, take away 21, divided by 6. And 5 times 1, 5, add 1 times 13, divided by 6. Gives us 6 divided by 6 is 1. Negative 6 divided by 6 is negative 1. And 18 divided by 6 is 3. So your answer is 1, negative 1 and 3. 17, inverse function. So rewrite it as y equals 2x squared minus 4. Swap everything round about. Take the 4 over. 2x squared is y add 4. Take the 2 over. Y add 4 divided by 2. Square root of y add 4 divided by 2. And remember, to finish the question off, you need to rewrite it back in terms of x. So the inverse function is the square root of x add 4 divided by 2. And finally, f of g of x, so the g goes in to the f formula, so that's 4 lots of 2x add 1, take away 6, 8x add 4, take away 6, 8x take away 2. Right, hopefully we got most of them right.